Okay. All right. It is Tuesday chat time. I'm Kerry Dixon. If you don't know me, I'm a wildlife and nature artist. I work in realism and soft pastels are my favorite medium. Good morning, Zoe, from on the road somewhere in Geelong. Oh, well, it sounds like you're off on an adventure, which is amazing. Um, just give me a thumbs up or let me know that you can hear me. Hi, Rhonda, as well. All right. Facebook actually seems to be working. Wonderful. All right. So, yeah, it's Tuesday chat time. Let me get my notes up. Whoop. All right. So, today I wanted to chat about in the Creative Barn membership, we have a monthly art chat on Zoom. And this month we just had it on Friday. And we had an art therapist came as a guest speaker and chatted to us. So I thought I could expand on that a little bit. Um, there's probably a few things that over over the whole chat that I could break down into Tuesday chats, but one I really liked that we talked about was the idea that not all art is supposed to be shared. So this chat is about ugly sketchbooks and why we need them. Just say morning, Marianne. So like I said, through the chat with Samantha from Living Art Hervey Bay, we covered a few topics, but this one really stuck out to me because I do sort of struggle with this. I'm hoping can you guys still see me? Let me just, no, for some reason my camera has just gone. Um, Let me see what is going on. I think I've frozen. Yeah, oh, you can see me? Okay. From my end, it's just a black screen with a circle. Hold on, let me try on my phone. It always plays up, doesn't it? Hold on, I'm just going to quickly go on my phone. It might just be my computer here that's showing that. Um, okay, I think yep, okay, cool. I'll keep going. Like I said, it's not showing up for me on here, but let's keep going. This is so weird. Okay, yep. All right. Sorry, guys. It's throwing me because I can't see anything, but that's all right. I will continue. All right. So like I said, our art therapy discussion on Sunday was great, but I really took away the idea that not all art is meant to be shared. And it's something I feel like I struggle with a lot. I feel after talking to everyone, I think I put too much pressure on myself creatively because of probably social media, the fact I'm teaching and running a business. So I always feel like I need to, like everything I produce needs to be Instagram worthy or it needs to be something I can teach someone. So good enough that people will learn from it. So that really resonated me, this conversation. So I think I also stopped seeing sketchbooks as places to experiment, and I started to see them as things that should look impressive and things I could take a photo of to share on social media because when you're trying to run a business, you're always trying to think of photos you can share and posts you can make. Like marketing kind of sucks. And you just always got to think of something else to post. and it's something I've never really loved doing. So I think I've gotten into that mindset that I feel like I need to have, yeah, like Instagram worthy art every single time I put pen to paper. Um, so I kind of wanted to run through that today. I thought it was a good one to talk about. So well, I know myself, and I'm sure someone else out there would be the same. I have quite a few art journals. Now, I've just grabbed a few here. Oh, and I thought I'd show you some of them. They're all empty because I'm scared to ruin them. So, but I suppose it doesn't matter too much about what journal it is, but I thought I would. There's all different ones. Like this one is a Strathmore. I can't see myself holding this up. This one's a Strathmore and it's got toned paper. So I'd heard that doing t like starting with a toned paper is always a great way because then it's not a white paper and you can go like both sides. You can add dark and light, which I like that idea. But as you can see, it's empty. And then this one, actually, this one, bought it because I thought I loved how beautiful it was. It's got these gorgeous, like ripped edged paper, which, I don't want to mess that up. So it's so nice. Again, it's empty. It just, yeah, it was such a nice journal. I bought this one, which this was really expensive. It's an etcher one, and it is really thick. It's for watercolor or any sort of paint. You can probably put oil, acrylic, anything in here. It's really thick paper. And again, I'm scared to mess it, so I haven't started that. And then I've got this Temu one, which um, you know, again, I think this is probably one of the best ones because it was cheap. It was like $10. Gorgeous cover, pretty decent paper in it. It's quite thick. Again, empty, but I also like the way it opens up quite flat. And that was off Temu. So realistically, this one probably was the cheapest, and I feel like could be the best one for me to get started with. And this is just a few of the journals I own that are all empty. Okay, so, and it's just, I really am struggling with the fear of that first page and making it look awful. So I'm trying, after this conversation with Samantha, the art therapist, it made me think I just need to just start throwing color down, maybe, not worrying too much about what the actual, like it's not supposed to be a finish picture. But I think also being a realist artist, we do struggle with wanting everything to look frame worthy. Um, I think if you were more of an abstract artist, you wouldn't be as scared to make a mess and just go for it. Um, I know I know I have pressure to always want to make good art. I wanted to share my page and show you. This is one of the reasons I have this pressure. I follow an artist, Dina Brodsky. She's got over 1 million followers on Instagram. Her sketchbooks are stunning, but I'm sure her first ones probably weren't. Okay, but she's been doing this a long time. And what Sandra got, you're the same with many empty journals, not wanting to spoil it. I know it's a thing and it's silly, but it is what I think. As I said, I don't think I'm the only one out there that does that. Let me share my screen. Just I want to share Dina's stuff with you guys. Um, oh, hold on. So this is Dina's page. Oh my God. I always end up getting my notes in the wrong spot. Okay, so let me scroll down a little bit. Should we just click on one maybe? hopefully you can see that she does a lot of ink work. And so what she said, I took some notes. So she gets asked, well, like I think this video itself says that she gets asked a lot about what her perfect sketchbook would be. And she says, it's different for everyone, but here are some things to think about. So it needs to feel good in your hand, but your sketchbook it has to sort of feel good when you pick it up. It should be easy to transport, lightweight, and easily accessible. So she does a lot of plein air, I suppose, out on site. She also does a lot back in her studio, of course. I feel like she probably sketches out on site and then she comes back to the studio and adds more work, more of her art there. This was a good one with the little bird. She's actually a miniature artist, essentially. All right, but she goes on to say, it's capable of doing everything you want it to do. This depends on your aspirations for the book. If you're only going to be using it for writing and drawing with dry media, ballpoint pen, graphite, or charcoal, you can get a sketchbook with smooth, thin pages like a moleskin. If, on the other hand, you want to be using wet media in it like watercolor or gouache, a sketchbook with thin pages will buckle, warp, or bleed through, which will make you feel like you're fighting your materials. If you know you'll only be working with watercolors, you can get a cold press paper with a lot of texture, which will work beautifully with watercolor, but it is then cold press paper is too rough to use with drawing media. So her personal preference for a sketchbook is a heavyweight hot press paper. It's smooth enough to use with pen and pencil, but heavy enough to hold up to water media. It needs to be something that you love. If you're going to spend a lot of time with this book, make sure you love it. Okay, but again, like I said, this is why I have this fear of perfection in my sketchbook, because I love watching these sketchbook artists. I think they're just stunning what they do. That looks like a painting, but like I said, I'm sure not all of her first sketchbooks were amazing. But yeah, it just sort of makes me think, oh God, why do I I just so worry about it. But I do like her way of puts the sketch in, like a really detailed pencil or ballpoint pen she uses a lot as well, actually, and then goes back over it with the paint, which I love what she does. It's amazing. Okay, so let me stop sharing. I'll go back to Facebook so I can see comments. Okay, so this is, like I said, this is why I watch people like that and think, oh my God. Morning, Tracy and Holly as well. You have a sizable pile of empty sketchbooks that I don't want to ruin. Zoe, I saw a video the other day where the artist talked about this very issue, fear of ruining the sketchbook. His solution was to scribble wildly on the very first page. The cheaper the tool, the better. A kid's crayon, for instance, and then that's it. The sketchbook is spoiled. You can't get any worse. So now you can go for it. That is a good idea. I also watched another artist talk about it. She's an abstract artist, Louise Fletcher, I think her name is. And hers are totally for her own experimental use. They're not really to show anyone. And that's where I think I need to change my mindset. So she's got pages that just have black paint on it. And then she started adding colors to the black paint as she went. And it's created a series for her that that she liked the first look of the black against, I think she had orange was on a page next to it. And then being an abstract artist, it then spurred color influences for a series that she put black throughout with different colors. And but yeah, her sketchbooks are just for her to come up with ideas for her larger paintings. Whereas Dina, she's a miniature artist, so her painting, I suppose her sketchbooks are finished paintings because that's the size she paints. Um, so yeah, I think once again, follow more than one one artist on Instagram of different levels, I suppose. Like we steal like an artist, so we take ideas and inspiration from all different artists. So it's always a good idea to have a few different artists that you can gather inspiration from that aren't all like creating the most amazing sketchbooks. Sandra, I have a little 4x4 watercolor pad that I use to try different techniques. Very nice. See, I think the other problem is experiment, although it probably doesn't matter because I work with pastels a lot. Yeah, you can't put pastels in a sketchbook because they're just going to smudge everywhere and make a mess. But that doesn't stop me using a sketchbook to still come up with color ideas. I could do that with gouache and watercolor, and then transfer that over to pastel, but also doing sketches. Of course, I use graphite and charcoal. Charcoal can be sealed, so yeah, there I have no excuse, put it that way. All right. Let me see where out of my notes. Okay, um, so like I said, one of the favorite parts of our conversation with Samantha was discussing the journals and the sketchbooks that are messy and emotional, experimental, and completely private. Because, like I said, Samantha is an art therapist, so that is where you're creating art for yourself, essentially. So they're not the beautiful curated sketchbooks that we see online. These are more the real ones that probably most artists have but don't actually share. So pages full of color swatches, scribbled notes, rough thumbnails, maybe glued in scraps of something from a magazine or half finished ideas, just random thoughts, probably ugly sketches, and just that emotional expression. So they're the pages that mean something to you, even if nobody else can understand them. So I know Louise said that when I was looking, she had a little video showing through, like she said, if someone looks at this, they just think, oh my God, what a mess. Like it's not for anyone else, but to her, every page is a thought, and she knows exactly what each sort of thing she's put in there means and can refer back to it. Um, now, Samantha always also shared a couple of art therapy exercises that sort of help with this idea as well. So, drawing your emotions through colors and shapes rather than because that was something we were like, but what do I draw? You know, once again, the realism coming out. She was saying just draw, like get your expressions out. She having like a negative page and then a positive page, and we're still like, yeah, but what do we draw? But I think if you start with colors, that's a good one because you don't have to think about um exactly what you're drawing. So you could put down colors that you're feeling. You know, we all know that uh, emotions come through in colors. So if you're like feeling really down and grief stricken, things like that, maybe those darker colors will come through. Whereas if you're feeling really bright and positive and happy, then maybe you'll bring in some of those lighter, yellows and pinks and things like that. The negative page and the positive page I thought was also a good one. And she said they do have, when she does have people come in for a session with her and they're like totally blocked with, but what do I draw? They always say, draw your house. Okay, so, and most people can draw a house or just a stick outline. So, and then you can start elaborating, drawing flowers and trees and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, the negative. So if you're feeling really down about something, maybe draw that, but then on another page, draw the positive side of it. Maybe writing words and thoughts around the artwork. That was another one she suggested. And then just journaling visually instead of trying to create that polished art. And then listing things that bring joy and calm, I suppose. So I thought that was a good one as well. She said she has a list that she can see, it's pinned to a fridge or a bathroom mirror. I can't remember now, but it's a list of things that brings her joy. So it was things like the beach or feeling the sand in her toes, getting a manicure, maybe, or going to the hairdresser, seeing the grandkids, maybe just a list of things that do make you feel happy. And that way, if you are having a day that you're feeling really down, you can go and look at your list and do something on that list that makes you feel a lot happier. All right. So none of these exercises had anything to do with artistic skill. A lot of her clients, she's some that like through NDIS that are nonverbal, ones with a lot of disabilities, but there's also people that are really struggling through grief, maybe really high stress or anxiety. They're not artists, so that's why with an art therapist, they're using art as the therapy, but a lot of their clients aren't artists, so that's why they have to do these exercises that just can help them get their emotions out. But us as artists, we can still do that as well. Okay, so if you're having a down day, maybe start to think about some of these ideas and a little journal or a sketchbook. Okay, so yeah, it's all about expressing yourself. And I think as artists, sometimes, yeah, like I said, I know myself, I get bogged down in trying to get everything perfect, whereas I think I need to have something that has no pressure and I can just express myself and start making marks. Like I said, throw colors down, experiment with all different mediums, all different things like stencils, gold leaf, all that. So just play. I think as adults we do struggle as well because when we're older, we've had that life where we have been skilled with what we've done with our jobs, even with bringing the kids up, housework, everything. Um, just life in general, at our age, we're feeling pretty comfortable with where we are and what we've accomplished. But learning art sometimes throws us back into being that beginner again. And I think we've sort of forgotten that feeling we did as kids. You know how kids, they'll experiment, they'll make mistakes. They know they're not good at something straight away. They'll just naturally experiment and don't expect some amazing outcome, but they're happy with the outcome they've got. And whereas I think us as adults, we're always judging, we're comparing with others, we're always, got that pressure to create something that looks good immediately rather than um, just experimenting and being creative just to be creative. So I think we need to go back to thinking how we did as kids and just you know play, and kids learn through that messy repetition, whereas we expect that mastery straight away. I think we've forgotten how to be beginners. I know I certainly have. I even if I pick up a different medium, and now I haven't done a lot of watercolor, but I get very disappointed when it doesn't work how I want it to work, and I haven't had hardly any practice in watercolor. But I expect it to be good, and it's silly because I shouldn't. Sandra, your OCD makes you want to have something pleasing every time I create. Yeah, exactly. Um, so I think also for me, I need to probably do more of this journaling or a sketchbook because usually even when I'm experimenting a bit, I'm doing it on good paper in case it works and I want to turn it into a painting. Whereas I need to step back and start in a book first and then go on to the good paper, I suppose, if I think it's worth following through on, and realize that not everything's going to be worth following through on. Some of the stuff's going to just be bad, and there's nothing I can do about that. Okay, but yeah, so this is where I said I myself, and I'm sure a lot of you out there, we need to not think about it. Well, for me, especially being the marketing side of it, not think about it as it's becoming content to put up on social media for everyone else to see. Um, yeah, and to ease off on that pressure to post online all the time. And then myself as well, from the business side, the pressure to make everything into a tutorial. Um, I'm always trying to think of ways like it could be useful for my members as well. So again, I put too much pressure on myself, put it that way. I've said that about 10 times now. So yeah, it's something I definitely need to just start getting messy, maybe even buy some just butcher's paper, things like that that really can just be screwed up and thrown in the bin. That even they're not even in a sketchbook, it's just scrap paper. Just do some really ugly experimentation, color testing. I like the idea of writing thoughts down as well and collecting inspiration. I already do collect a lot of things. I have like jars of feathers and shells and little bits of wood that I like the shape of. All that sort of stuff, I think, would also help. Just yeah, take the pressure off. Um, so I'm reading my notes here. These are some other practical ideas. So I already mentioned the draw emotions as colors and shapes, create a page that nobody sees, write words around a sketch, glue in scraps, photos, and leaves, um, draw with your non-dominant hand, make a messy materials page, list things that make you happy, the positive negative page exercise, and collect inspiration instead of making art. Okay, I think that's the one. Definitely just think of it as inspiration rather than you're making art. We're doing a challenge inside the Creative Barn this month, actually, which is helping to. The idea is called the 30-day challenge. 30 days of seeing challenge, I think is what it's called. But it is just going through each week, and I don't know if I've got it here. Here it is. So every day of the week, but each week. So it's 30 days, but each week is a different theme. So the first week we were looking at texture. So these were things, we're just taking photos, or some of my students were actually doing a drawing every time. I didn't want to put pressure on everyone to have to do like a 1 day drawing every single day, because that is a lot. But so just taking photos, but it's gathering inspiration, and yeah, there's no finished thing. It was just to help people see. So we started with texture, then we looked at different lights like morning light, harsh midday light, things like that. Then we're on to composition. So this week is like rule of thirds, a close-up crop. We did negative space yesterday, and today's leading line. So again, it all refers back to our art, but there's not any pressure, which is what I think this whole idea is after talking to Sam, is take the pressure off a bit. And then next week we're finding story in the images or the paintings we're doing. So yeah, it's a great challenge, and it's along this line as well. So yeah, if you think you need to do something like that as well, then yeah, have a go at it. I will put this as a blog, and I might link that little challenge list for others to have a go at as well, because it's a lot of fun. So I'll just check comments. Yep. I think yep. All good. What? No. Yep. Okay. I've answered everything there. So I think the main takeaway is I need to realize that creativity doesn't need to be productive. I don't need to try and make money from it. Art can just be for art's sake, and it doesn't need to be for anyone else. Okay, so not every drawing needs to become a finished artwork. Not every sketch needs to be content for me. Um, Not every creative session needs to result in something impressive. So sometimes creativity is simply just how we process life, and it's something we can look back through our journals ourselves and see the story of our lives, essentially, see where we were in, I know with Dina, I think I saw a thing that she showed. She has just mountains and mountains and mountains of sketchbooks. And there's essentially journaling her whole life and her process of how her art has gotten better. Because I think she said she does about four, she fills about four a year. So every quarter, I suppose. So that could be the first page. Put in the date. There you go. But I think it's something to look back on as well. But I think it'll be a good way to really start to loosen up a bit and start being more creative and also give me ideas and inspiration as well, because I think that is really important. So sometimes that messy sketchbook could be more valuable than a really fancy polished one with amazing artwork, because it's those ideas we're always striving for as artists to get inspiration to create our own unique paintings. I think that's where it probably is going to start, is in that messy sketchbook. Okay. So I'm definitely giving you permission and myself to just get messy. Don't put any pressure on yourself. Don't try to create perfect artwork or perfect pages in this sketchbook. You could still have, like, I'll always have my art I'm working on, which is sort of the one that I'm sort of doing to maybe enter a competition, to sell as a tutorial, something good. But I really feel it's important to have that messy book to go along with it. So you've got two sides there. Okay, so I can experiment with those color combinations, with any other ideas, do some journaling, like glue things down and write things, and knowing full well no one else is even going to see it. So I think it'll be really good for me, especially. So I'm hoping this has helped you guys also think about this a bit more. If you feel like you need to free up your creativity a bit, if you're feeling a bit blocked, I'm never short of inspiration because of the amount of photos I take that I then turn into paintings. But um, I feel like I'm at a block where I want to be more creative and get a bit messy. But I just think it's probably not going to change the way I create my art or my style, but I think having that can only help and enhance and make everything, if you're feeling a bit stuck as well, I think when you're doing realism, you're so bogged down in detail sometimes. I think it'd be nice just to go and make a mess, make a mess like a child. I think that would be great. So, all right, this one was fairly short, but I will let you all get back on with your day. And thank you for joining me. I can't see any other comments there or questions. Um, yeah, and maybe go and use some of those sketchbooks you've already got or journals you've got. Go and get messy with them, or go and buy yourself a pretty cheap one to get messy with. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.